relationship replacement. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Cancerians, is the Devil. And it's in the reverse for you. So number 15, 1, 5, and 6 are significant with this energy. So here if you see in the picture above, there is there is a devil, back wings. And then there is this person that's kind of like in a crouching position. And it's of course a darker energy. It's a darker ambience and very red and orange and gray sky. But if you see, the chain is there between the devil and this person. But it's a very loose chain. And the person that's tied up with this chain is, it doesn't feel like this person is kind of controlled by the devil. It just looks like this person has kind of given up or tired or exhausted in some way. And if you will see, the picture below is much brighter. There is angel instead of the devil. There is this, it's a green garden. And of course, it's a beautiful golden blue sky. So I feel, Cancerians, this is probably a situation where you were there by your choice. Either it's by your choice or you just got used to it. It became a habit of yours. Or it could be that you just thought that it's impossible for you to leave that situation. Now, this could be an external situation, or it could be like a habit that, maybe it was a habit, maybe it was something that you were repeating, something on the inside, something maybe like a pattern that you were repeating. Or this could be in regards to your external environment, whether it's people, or you were just comfortable where you are, or you are fearful of leaving that situation. So it was not really, nobody was holding you back. So I feel, Cancerians, for you, this was a situation that nobody forced it onto you. And I feel that you were doing something. Either it was a habit or some kind of pattern that you were repeating. And you were fully invested into that, because I feel that you really, you kind of put the energy or your time into either keeping up with appearances or kind of maintaining a certain kind of a pattern or maintaining a certain kind of a habit or some kind of an arrangement, I would say, in your life, whether it's a personal habit of yours, a personal pattern, or it's a situation in regards to your, your home situation. You put a lot of time, energy, effort into maintaining that situation. And you did not realize that it was easier to leave it. You did not realize that leaving that situation was much easier. There is also one key detail in this picture. If you see, Cancerians, there is a pentagram at the head of this devil. And it's a little bit crooked. It's like twisted like that. And if you look at the picture below, where the angel is there, the pentagram is rested correctly, on the angel's head, like she's wearing a crown, and it's in the right position. It's not twisted. It's not in a twisted position. So I feel that whatever, you were stuck to, or the situation that you were bound to or exhausted with, and it could be anything. It could be that, it was just about, maybe it was the comforts that you wanted, or maybe it was the security, or it was the emotional security or financial security. probably something around that was keeping you hostage in a particular situation. And I feel that because there is an angel in the picture below, the angel is your inner world. I feel this is your thinking, your feelings, your heart space. And, something clicked inside of you. Something shifted, either the way you saw the situation or, some kind of a thing changed inside of you. That liberated you. I feel it was not some external person that came and liberated you. I feel it was you yourself, your inner voice, your thinking, your ideologies, or an idea you got, or some kind of a perception change you had that motivated you or that helped you release this situation. So I do feel that you had, the experience of being in a caught up situation, in a stuck or suffocating or a difficult or a fearful situation, whatever that is, it's going to be different for each of you Cancerians. I feel you learned something out of it and you pushed yourself out of the situation. So I don't think anybody from the outside world came and helped you. It was you yourself who helped you. And I also feel that this situation was, you were in this situation because you had to learn something from it. You had to experience something. And it shaped you into, someone that you are meant to become. And it's only because you went through this rough experience. So I feel that this situation kind of pointed you out to a belief of yours that it was just a belief of yours. It was not maybe a fact. It was not the truth. And I feel that you recognize that it was just a belief of yours that you had to come out of. So it could be that related to finances or some kind of material security or a situation that was providing you material security, and you finally saw that it was the money was, or some kind of financial security or some kind of security was the driving force behind keeping you trapped and, restricted. And the moment you open your eyes to it, the moment you realize that, I feel that you liberated yourself, or it's going to happen very, very soon if you have not already liberated. But I feel for the most part you have. And the devil energy, see, it's linked to the collective Capricorn energy, which is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn, has rings. That Saturn is a planet of constraint, of limitation. So I feel that some kind of limitation, some kind of constraint that you felt taught you something. And what you learned from that constraint is something that liberated you. And I feel this happened because the moon now, which is your ruler, is in your sign. And that gives you the clarity to see things for what they are. And it gives you, I would say that, self-realization to recognize what's holding you back, to recognize the pattern. And I feel that when you recognized what's holding you back, you were able to pull yourself out of it because you understood that freeing yourself from a certain situation brings you something more beautiful, something genuine, something that's close to your heart, something that will nourish you, something that is more settling, more grounding to you. I feel that with the angel present in the reverse, I feel that you realized what a liberation could bring for you or bring to you. Something very beautiful, something angelic, something beautiful, something grounded. I mean, this week is really good for these kind of transformations, Cancerians, because, the planets are really well aligned for you. If you see this devil, the devil card is ruled by the Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn right now is in Pisces, which is a mutable water sign. So I feel these chains are dissolving, and Jupiter being in your sign right now, in the sign of Cancer, or about to enter the sign of Cancer. It's in Gemini right now. It's coming towards Cancer. It's going to expand. It's going to, your fortune is going to change. You're going to see the shift in energies. There's going to be growth. And the growth for you is coming out of the limited situation, something that was holding you back. And I feel that the movement is going to be very, very fast. You're going to, once you make this choice, once you make the decision, which I feel that you already have, things are going to move very fast for you, Cancerians. You know, the thing is that once you are able to put a finger on what's holding you back, that's when you're ready to make the transformation. You know, putting a finger, understanding your self-realization is something that opens the door to liberation. And I feel that's what happened because of the planetary alignments for you. It does happen at times, like, because, I always say that the familiar situation, we get emotionally attached to, and that sometimes becomes the reason why we stay on for way too long. Now, the only caveat with this devil energy is while we're, releasing ourselves or removing ourselves from one familiar situation that was restricting, make sure you don't fall into another pattern or a situation that, for a small or for initially, like, it feels like, oh, this is a much better place. It's so I'm freed myself. But later on, you feel like, you've gotten from one bad situation into another. So make sure you understand the situation or understand what you're getting into, as you free yourself. But at the same time, I feel that, while you were stuck somewhere, something else was developing. It could be that, it could be anything. It could be some kind of possibility, some kind of another situation. Could be an opportunity for you, or, could be relationship, could be a job opportunity, could be any other situation which is positive. Was already developing while you were stuck in a certain situation. Because you see the reverse here, there is this angel which is, on the other side of the picture below, which means that as soon as you liberate yourself, you head into a beautiful situation which is fully formed. So you are headed to a situation which is fully formed, that which you did not even notice, you did not realize was there, something like that, I feel. Now, for some of you, this could play out in terms of relationships. For some of you, this could be in regards to your house situation. Now, it could be the people of the house or a pattern, or it could be the house itself, like the home where you were. Maybe it was like you needed a bigger space, and then you were stuck because, everything was familiar and you liked it, but you needed a bigger space. You knew it from a long time, and finally you took the plunge on it. For some of you, it could be that as well. Or for some of you, it could be that you, sold off things and you released yourself from those attachments. Maybe it was an older property you sold or something that you, either sold off or let go of, which had kind of become, which is weighing on you, I feel. And you were probably doing that out of some kind of an obligation. I feel that you are holding on to something for way too long and just out of obligation, and you're releasing that or letting it go. Or it could be some, portfolio, maybe some stocks and shares that were depreciating in value, and you thought that it would come up someday, and then you're restructuring your finances. It could be something around finances, your portfolios, or it could be that, some kind of a financial setup you had, that was kind of, maybe it was draining you of your money or resources, some kind of a financial setup, and you released yourself from that. It could be some kind of contract as well. It could be some kind of contract you had with some financial company or something like that. But I feel whatever this is, it's making you feel really happy, really light, relieved. And I feel that you're happy that you made this call or this final decision, So I do feel that you do have now a lot of clarity, and you're like worry unapologetically making decisions, saying things that you need to say. There's a kind of confidence in you now that you're being very direct with what you want, what you don't want, and things like that. And I feel that people notice that, the difference in the way you are communicating or the way you're doing things. Or this could also be, a family arrangement of some kind. I don't know. It's going to be different for each one of you, but I do feel that maybe it could be about the family that you have if you're married and you have kids, or it could be the family, your parents, your extended family. I don't know, some kind of a change in,
the family setup, or the city or the place you choose to live, or something like that could also be changing. Or this can even be at your professional place, the team, the company, the title that you were at. Maybe you've been, restricted by it and you want to do a much more, or it was not being offered to you, and you decide to change the team or change the place of work, or even pivot into a different career path.
the next card you have, Cancerians, is the Toad. Toad, and when we talk about Toad, it's like the most overlooked amphibian out there, right? I mean, yeah, it's not a flashy amphibian. And it gets overlooked because of that, and also because, how it lives its life. It's very adaptive, of course. It survived so many, it's one of the most oldest amphibians. It survived so many generations of so much climate change and all of that. But the good thing why it was able to survive is because it lives in the marsh area, which is like a mix of, right in between, marshy areas, which is land and water, not fully water, like not the ocean kind of water, and not the desert, right? It lives in the marshy areas. And I've said this before as well, that marshes are like, highly biodiverse areas, and a lot of research of medicines and, alternate medicines and all of that comes from the marsh area. A lot of it is used in the medicine as well. But here for you, I mean, for some of you, you could be working in ecosystems and things like that. But in general, the thought is like not a flashy thing, so it gets overlooked. So you might be feeling that you got overlooked. Nobody's paying attention. But, with the thought, again, it's so right to your energy right now, Cancerans. You are the cardinal water. You're so deep, you're ruled by the moon. And that's why you carry that crust on your back, right? Because you want to protect your sweetheart. But at the same time, nobody can take that emotional depth away from you, because that's who you are wired to be. But with the Tour energy out here, it's about having that deep knowing, the deep intelligence, that sometimes people overlook, or people maybe they know it, but they're unable to say it or put a finger on it. I feel that's who you are this week. I mean, I feel that, it's like you are either showing a mirror to people or something became a mirror to you. I feel something, it could be both ways. It could go both ways. Either you are showing a mirror just, the people around you, or somebody showed you a mirror. And I feel that, you know, I feel you saw something recently, right? That's what the devil on the reverse is, because of the current moon in Cancer, and of course Jupiter again transiting. So there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of expansion, and and I feel that you've been in this for a long time. You've been procrastinating. But you were not able to actually point a finger on what's exactly wrong, what you wanted, or something like that. I feel that you've been really patiently waiting, and now you got the clarity for the devil to be reversed. So that's a good thing, because, you saw something that opened your eyes and led you to this point of releasing yourself. Because I do feel that, you've endured, or you've been in a situation that was really uncomfortable, with a toad over here. Toad lives in the marshy areas. Marshes are not comfortable, it's very hard to be there. Nobody stops to visit a marsh. it's an uncomfortable place for many. So I feel that you've been in a really uncomfortable position, with the stored energy. Um, yeah, but now, I feel that you are kind of putting a finger on it. You're saying, you're being direct. Yeah, uh, yeah, I feel that you've been there sitting patiently, waiting patiently. And now, you have understood things clearly that you're able to say them clearly. It's like the wait is over for you. That's the part. And I feel that for some of you, maybe you were hiding under it. Maybe you were like, you didn't want to be seen. For some of you, it could be that. Like you were going with the situation because you did not want to be seen. I don't know why I feel it like that. So some of you were probably just working in the background, um, and now you're like breaking free from that. Maybe you wanted to be in the forefront, and you didn't get a chance, or people overlooked you for opportunities or something like that, and now you broke free from that. Um, because I feel that now for those of you that are in, that it's related to a career position. It could be that you were working in an area, a team or a department or some kind of project that got overlooked. Maybe people were not interested in it, or the people did not value it, the company did not value it because, something else got priority or something else was flashy and people moved over to that and nobody valued what you were working on. But now it's your time to shine. People are recognizing the value of what you're working on. And I feel that for some of you, you've been doing it, you've been enjoying it, you've been doing it in silence, maybe working late night hours. Hey, yeah, just, or maybe you were like, working in things that were completely, or maybe you chose to work on things that were not flashy. I would say, things that were not on the spotlight is what is coming to mind, like things that were not in the forefront. But now, um, it's like for some of you, it could be that, your ideas were not respected or listened to or something like that. But now that you've understood the situation, you've understood things, and you say something that, changes up the entire scenario or changes up the entire system or arrangement or something like that. It's like you're just waiting to say it or waiting for the right person to hear it. For some of you, it could be that as well, that you waiting for the right person to hear it. That song comes to mind, The Sound of Silence. So I don't know if, you're listening to that, but if you listen to the lyrics, I feel it might, it looks like a situation similar to yours. The situation that comes to mind for your current situation, Cancerians, is like, 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 how will I say, like, for example, like you are in a family, right? Like where um, the grandparents, right? Like they're there around and they're just there, their presence, and they're just there. But it's like, yeah, their grandparents, they don't know anything, which is of today's times. They don't, they're not updated with the latest. For some, it could be updated, but they're not. They don't do much. Like they're not very fast. They're not very active. They're kind of slow in the background, right? And then we don't realize how important they are until they've gone, and then things sort of fall apart. So it's something like that, you could be like your presence was there all the time, people didn't recognize it, and you leave and things fall apart or something like that. This is what I'm picking up on. And I feel that in waiting, you've learned so much that whatever you say, that your experiences become your wisdom. And I feel that, with that wisdom, when you talk to people, maybe a lot of people are coming to you for advice, trying to understand, your thinking, your thought process. They want to know, where you're coming from, how you think those things, how you do those things, how you observe those things, and all of that people kind of miss. So maybe, like, people are coming to you now more for advice, because you see things which is like, so wise, so deep. Um, and I feel that maybe you were silent before and you were not saying much, or people thought you didn't know much. But now you're getting noticed for your intelligence, for your wisdom, for your skills that you were probably working in the background or were not recognized before. And I do feel that, people are now going to recognize your value. They're going to see how knowledgeable you are, how patient you were. It's like, again, an exactly told quality. It doesn't chase after the fly or its prey, right, that it's going to attack. It just sits there waiting patiently, silently, and it knows exactly when to extend its thumb and get its prey. So it's that kind of an inertia that you were sitting there waiting. Now you know it's the time, you recognized it, and now you speak up and things change about for you. The last card for today, Cancerians, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, this stressful situation is almost coming to an end. We are sending positive energy, financial health, miracles, and life-changing blessings your way. So this is the exact sum up of what we have been talking about. A situation that stressed you out, that restricted you, that constrained you, is almost now coming to an end. You're releasing yourself because you've been patient for way too long. Yeah, when it comes to Saturn, it's a slow-moving planet, and it takes time for people to come out of its shackles, to understand, to see the true picture. It does take some time. It's not like a sudden thing. It takes time. It's a slow-moving planet. It's got rings, and it takes now a certain alignment of Saturn, like it's in Pisces right now, where the rings are dissolving, right? So I feel that help is coming your way. The universe has recognized your efforts, what you've been patient, and they're sending all the help, whether it's finances or other miracles that will help change your direction, change your life. All the blessings are coming your way, Cancerians. So those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now we'll be going to the sign of Scorpio. So the first card you have, Scorpio, is the Five of Wands. And that's in the reverse for you, which is, of course, a good thing. Because Five of Wands in the upright is an argumentative energy, right? It's the heat, it's the tension, it's the disagreements, it's a little difficult situation, and it's Wands, so it's a competitive energy, and when it's wooden, what do you call the staffs over here that are being used, right? And wooden staffs, when they it's not a sword energy. So, and people, if you see in this picture, in the above picture, a little darker environment, and the picture below, it's a flourishing environment, right? There's growth, there is green. It's a pleasant environment. People are not attacking each other. And the first one, people are attacking each other in the picture above. They're actively fighting, and it's a situation, probably Scorpio, that you are in where, it's like I feel that, what was I going to say? Okay, so I was going to say that a difficult situation is wrapping up for you. Yeah, maybe you were in a chaotic situation. Could be at home, could be at work. And I feel that this Five of Wands, this, whatever happened, this conflict, whatever happened, was actually good. Because now it's clearing the air. And once it gets cleared, and once people know where they stand, and what's right, what's wrong, what's on my side, who's on my side, who was right, who was wrong, what is the right approach, and all of those answers, as they get answered through this Five of Wands situation, is something that will lead to more positivity for you. So it was good that you got into the situation, because now what's going to happen after this air clears up, is exponential and extraordinary positive, movement for you. This is a lot of positivity, growth, abundance. It's like things get realigned, things get reoriented. People. A lot of questions get answered for you, for other people, whoever is in this conflict. So it was good because, I mean, it's good, because, as they say that if, like, for example, if you're part of a team and this was happening in a team, um, they say that, especially when multiple teams are working with each other and they come into these conflicting scenarios and then they're able to resolve it, those teams will do really well. They will outperform the other teams that are always in agreement with each other, when two people don't have conflicting opinions. Our two teams don't have conflicting opinions. There is no growth which is happening there, right? So that's the kind of situation I see for you, that um, something really abundant is going to happen after this conflict is resolved. So it was a good thing. This conflict was a welcome thing. Um, Now, these conflicts could be happening with 5 different people, or it could be in 5 different situations, or you are battling some different kind of, maybe it was like 5 different people on a team, or 5 different separate situations that, they came together and they were rough, and you're trying to resolve all of that, which I feel is going to resolve, and it's going to be for the better. It's going to be a new, a more stable, more abundant scenario that's going to come up for you. And Scorpio, you are ruled by Mars, and all ruler was Pluto, and Scorpio, for you guys, it's the 8th house energy, is the collective transformation energy, right? You're the sign of transformations. It's like you're represented by the Phoenix rising, and this is just exactly that, and see, disagreements by these kind of things keep happening. The most important thing is to work it out, to find a resolution, and something positive comes out of it. So that's good that, you are in this conflict and you say things that will hold up and, bring in new perspectives. And then once this conflict is over, then, new things come to the surface, new information comes to the surface, and things get resolved, things get realigned. So it was kind of a clearing of the space that was much needed. And I feel this conflict, this friction that happened, actually burn those dead scenarios or the situations that needed to go away. So this is a good thing, like things getting wrapped up, and, people are like, finally the air is cleared up, and, everybody has learned a lot. And while it was heavy, it was, depleting for each one of you that was involved in this battle, that I feel that things might shift around, the situation will become more clearer. Unexpected positive outcomes come out of this. You might be thinking all doom and gloom, but it's something that, this shift that is brought about by the Five of Wands, conflict and friction, is something really good. So, and the good thing is that fighting it out, and it's much better than just burying things under the rug, right? Because otherwise it'll resurface again in the future and create more tension. So it's better that these things get clarified right away. So, and I also feel like if you see the picture above, there are 2 people, and if you see the picture below, also there are 2 people. So I feel that this conflict doesn't create any distance or any rift between people. It's like people are there. People have just sorted it out, and they realign themselves. They realign their ideas, how their boundaries may be, or who. Yeah, it's like the people have in this picture, if you see, they're still there. So things have changed, the situation have changed, and your understanding of each other has changed, because you guys, or whoever was in this fight, did not avoid the fight. So the situation got transformed by talking it through, by working it out, by finding resolutions. And now the same group of people can work together more harmoniously. So it's that kind of an energy. Now, this misunderstanding or this conflict, it could be in any area of your life. It could be at work. It could be that, people were fighting for something. Maybe it was like a certain resource that was scarce and people were all fighting for it. Some kind of a competition. Maybe it was in bid, maybe vendors. or maybe it was a common investment, some kind of partnership, maybe some arrangement that was together as a part of a team. That it could be probably that as well. It could be a family-oriented situation as well. But now, things have worked out and people have agreed, or maybe there's a contract that was signed or some kind of resolution that settled the things. It could be competition in the market with companies. It could be, anything. It could be even at a global level. If this is not to personal energy, you could be seeing a lot of it happen at the global level around you, or the city level, or people around you. Some kind of, maybe it's between, siblings that kind of argue with each other, or then they kind of understand each other, what they were saying. So some kind of misunderstandings between siblings, between families, or could be between friends, your neighborhood, or something of that. But I feel that whatever this is, the final resolution, the situation after this conflict is resolved, is going to be so much better than where you started off. Yeah, it's difficult to have these conversations. It's difficult to put your point across. It's difficult to listen to the hard truths. But then, it yields a positive result. The next card you have, Scorpio, is a rabbit. And I feel this rabbit is you, Scorpio, because a rabbit is not only growth. Rabbit, of course, is abundance, it's growth, it's smartness, and rabbits are very alert. So I feel that you're very aware, informed, alert, smart. You have that Scorpio intelligence. And you're ruled by Mars, that's your Morinji ruler. So, I feel that you were able to respond fast. You have that smartness, that bit, that intelligence to navigate this scenario. And nobody's afraid of rabbits, right? It's like everybody finds it really cute. And it's very sensitive. It's very, very sensitive. It's got heightened sensory capabilities. So I feel that this is you, Scorpio. You are able to see through things that people miss. You are able to, kind of read the room or figure things out that other people probably missed. And I feel that, you are able to kind of have the full picture. It's like, in the camera, we have that panoramic setting for taking the picture of the entire room, or go around 360 degree and get a picture of the whole place where you're standing, if you just go around. So I feel like that, like you have that whole picture 360 degrees, and you're able to figure things out that other people did not. And I also feel that, this might be pressure at work. It might be that you have to perform, and there's a lot of competition, or a lot of kind of opposition, or some kind of challenges that people are putting for you. But because you're the water sign, you're the fixed water, you have a heightened, what you call, intuition. I feel that you're following your heart, your intuition, way much more than you are following some kind of, more than like the logic. I feel that you're using your senses, your intuition, your understanding, your ability to read the room is allowing you to find ways out, to navigate situations. You're able to see how people are moving, shifting, changing, even before other people are able to notice it. I feel that you're very sensitive to body language, to eye contact. You're very much present. You're very much aware. Yeah, and I feel that I feel like those, the ears of the rabbit feel like antennas to me. So it's like you're catching things that other people are not. Yeah, so I feel that because of your ability to speak or say things, you're able to work around it. It's like you're very smart with the words that you're using. You might be using, some kind of smart words or sentences that's helping you to walk out of situations without being harmed, and with Scorpios, I have seen this a lot, that you are able to predict things. You're able to sense if something's wrong. You're able to read the danger before it becomes obvious to other people. And, because you move fast, you're ruled by Mars. So you might be moving faster. You might be here, there, everywhere. People see it like, that, oh my God, you kind of move around too fast, or you say things too fast, or this, that, and the third, who knows. People might be thinking that, it might be, you might be coming from a place of fear or something like that with the Five of Wands, with the conflict. But I feel that you're able to pick up on subtle hints. You're able to move away faster than anybody else, which people don't understand. And like I said, because you're able to, see things from different perspectives. Others are not able to see that, and I feel that because of that, you're seeing things which other people don't. And because you're seeing things faster, you're able to move faster, take the right decisions faster. And because you're able to do that, now you're going to be celebrated for your rabbit is also abundance, it's growth, it's fertility. So you already saw that with the Five of Wands in the reverse. There is growth, there is abundance speaking for you. Yeah, so there's a lot of growth which is going to happen. You're moving in a direction of growth. And I feel because of that, because you have that smartness, because you have that intuitive intelligence, you have that, your water sign, you have depth, you have a lot of emotional intelligence, as they call it, EQ. And because of that high EQ, I feel that you're able to create things way much faster, At this, the rabbit is known for its speed as well as agility, flexibility. So I feel that because of these characteristics that you have, you're able to create something much more good for you, better for you. Now, this is not your energy, Scorpio. You could be working, in areas that, or teams that are in conflict with each other. Or you could be working at a political level or geopolitical level or city level, in kind of areas that have gone through a lot of conflict, and you're kind of, I feel that you're kind of multitasking or in different areas, in different directions. You're doing a lot of work. You're moving really fast. You know, I feel that for some of you, you could be working in companies that are moving really fast, like startups or something like that. Because the larger companies, they move slowly. The smaller companies move faster. Some of you could be in that environment as well. And I feel that, you're, because of your sensing powers and your intuition, you're able to decide fast. And people are not able to catch up with that. I feel that you have so many ideas, because a rabbit is multiplication. So maybe you have multiple ideas. And it's coming to you way much faster, maybe creative ideas, solutions, faster than other people. And it's like because you're so strongly intuitive, I feel that you already know what's going to happen before the analysis paralysis and all of those logical reasoning and all of that. You already know underneath what's going to happen, what's the outcome and all of that. And you, I think, kind of already make preparations ahead of time. So that's a good thing that you're moving fast, and people are unable to cope up or catch up with you. I feel, Scorpio, at this point in time. Yes, I do feel that you're growing, something creative you're working on. Maybe it could be in your office, you're doing things creative. It could be a side hustle, could be you're handling a lot of side projects as well that are creative, for those of you that are in the creative areas. Now, for others of you, that is not your energy. It could be people around you that have been doing this, moving fast. You're not able to track them. Sometimes they're here, they're everywhere. Sometimes they're around you. Sometimes they disappear. I feel that if that's the situation, that, people around you have been gone and come back and all of that, I feel that, that is going to end, and that those people that are coming, gone, inconsistent will come back, will be there for you to stay for a long time. Now, I also feel that for some of you are very smart with your moves in the sense that, you're not doing things like, you're not predictable at this point in time. I feel that people are seeing that you're a little bit, you could take any direction, you could come up with anything random. Unpredictability, I feel, is something that's working for you at this point in time. The way you do things, your approach, the way you think, say, or whatever, you shift up, It's because, see, if you see rabbits are not linear. Rabbits are zigzag, zigzag.
I feel that there is something about your pattern or the way you're doing things which is not predictable. People don't know where you will be next, where to spot you next. um yeah.
And the last card you have, Scorpio, is a message from Cosmos, and it says, choice is the most powerful tool you have. Every choice you make, no, choice is the most powerful tool you have. Every choice you make shuts some doors, but also opens several doors, bringing new experiences into your life. At any given time, you can change the direction of your life. You are only one choice away. And I feel that's exactly what you're doing. This is like summarizing your moves, like you're changing, making choices, making decisions, and people are unable to catch up or they don't know what your next move will be. Um, and I feel that, yeah, that's what it is. Like, whatever we choose to do based on our understanding, and you're very receptive at this point in time with the rabbit energy, you pick up on energy, you pick up on, you're able to read the room, you're able to pick up on the body language, or even read in between the lines or understand what people are trying to say, even though they don't say it, and you can make your decisions based on that, and people can't even figure you out. But that's a good thing, I feel, The exact movement of the rabbit is working for you. So, Scorpio, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now, moving on to the sign of Pisces. So, the first card you have, Pisces, is the Queen of Pentacles, but it's in the reverse for you. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, this is earth energy. This is all about resources, and the Queen being the receptive principle, it's about looking after things that sustain, creating sustainability. The Queen of Pentacles is very much capable of doing a lot of things. She is very good with business. She organizes, she sustains, she sustains at work. She's able to sustain her job, career, side gigs, and even do everything at home. But the downside of it is that it depletes the energy of the person who is spinning so many wheels, who is spinning so many plates in the air. There is an energy depletion, and I feel that's what's being brought to your attention, Pisces, that you've been looking after a lot of things, but you also need to look after yourself in order to be able to provide. So I do feel that, in the upcoming days, you will be, looking after your own self, because let's break down this picture. There is this queen in the picture, and she's wearing this beautiful, Victorian dress. A lot of symbols out here. You see, she's holding the pentacle down in the upright position, which is the reverse for the Queen of Pentacles. So she's holding the pentacle down. I feel that, and also she's looking on the other side, to the side. She's actually looking at the pentacle versus the picture, which is at the below picture. The queen is looking straight into the pentacle. So here I feel that Pisces, you being the mutable sign, you're the water sign, and it's all about the understanding, the depth of understanding and assessing and all of that. You have done that clear assessment of what was working and what needed to be left behind and what needs to be carried forward. I also feel that you're being very decisive about what you carry forward with you. It's like two different worlds. It's like the old world of yours and the new world of yours, and you're very decisive as to what you will carry from the old world into your new world is the energy that I pick up from this. I also feel that you have a clear understanding of how to sustain things, in the material world. It's like you understand what are the things, what are the resources, the people, health, whatever that understanding, which is going to be different for each one of you. You have that understanding as to what sustains you, what sustains you, your family, your health. It's like all the resources that you have that you want to carry forward, that you don't want to show to the world. It's not a performative energy. It's like a quiet understanding that this is exactly what I need. I'm going to work on sustaining this. I don't need to flash it out into the world. And it's like, not nostalgia. I feel this is like taking an inventory. It's like you have gone to the deepest parts of your psyche, your understanding, your emotions, your everything. And now, with that understanding, you're understanding what exactly needs to be with you and what needs to go. So I feel in the next few days, you have a plan, you have a vision that you're trying to bring into practice, into the real life, into the real world, I feel. Maybe you've been, kind of planning something, you had a vision, which is now ready to be brought into the real world. And I also feel that maybe you were working in the background, maybe you were analyzing, like I said, you were in analyzing energy, maybe you were trying to figure things out, organizing things in the backdrop, but now you're ready to, actually put in the work. So it's a moment of action, in the real world, so that you can actually create things that will sustain you in the future. It's like, for example, if you want to buy a table, like, for example, you're buying furniture, you want to buy furniture that is going to be durable, that will stand the test of time, not like, not something that gets ripped off like really fast. So things like that, long term, or you're investing in those things that will bring you long-term happiness, long-term success, long-term assets. Like, for example, you could be investing in your health. Like, without health, you cannot do anything. Maybe you've been burnt out and you were not having the time to invest in your exercise or eating right and all of that. But now you're like, I'm just going to focus on my health as well, because how else am I going to sustain other people, my family, whoever you're sustaining, if you're not able to put in the work yourself, right? So I feel that you're looking at those things. Functionality versus just, the flash, like you're trying to buy things that are functional. Today, I've seen a lot of people buy functional furniture that turns into bed at nighttime, turns into sofa in the day or something like that, turns into office table in the day, turns into a dining table at the same time. So kind of functionality, aspect as well that you're thinking about, like how to use the resources at the maximum. So I do feel that you have that know-how, you have that intelligence, you have the deeper understanding. You pay attention to smaller details. And that's what's coming to the surface or being highlighted in the next few days or weeks for you, Pisces, which, identifying things that are really genuinely nourishing to you, like walking out, eating right, exercising right, connecting with the right people, and so using your intelligence, your emotional intelligence, your understanding, your deeper understanding to create, areas or routines that are sustainable, that are actually nourishing to you and to others, of course. So this is like you coming this is about you becoming more practical, I feel. This is about you becoming more earthy, and I feel that ideas, everything that you've been working in the background, some ideas, some visions that you have is now becoming real. You're now bringing it to the material world, or maybe an idea that would actually bring in some money that can sustain you, some investments. Um, so this is a moment where all of your, resources that were not utilized till now are now coming to the surface, and um, something that you have been developing, maybe your inner world, the inner qualities that are not visible in the surface, like not tangible. Those qualities that you have been developing are now coming to the surface, are now being utilized, are now being pulled out by you to create something that is extraordinary. It's like you've been learning a craft, for example, and now you're ready to build a business out of it. Um, So I also feel that, this could be like some kind of a health um, restructuring that you're doing, like eating well, sleeping well, exercising well, and all of that. We all know that it needs to be done. We have that wisdom. We know it from the depth and the core of our hearts. But then putting it into practice, having a discipline around it, waking up on time, eating right, and all of that, I feel that you might be creating some kind of structure around it. For some of you, you might be kind of, like if you have a big backyard in your house, you could be using it for growing your fruit, produce, so that you could save up on some money outside instead of buying, you're using your own fruits and vegetables. For those of you, like, if you are into agriculture or growing your own produce, if it's excess, you could be supplying it to or selling it out or something like that. Like using your backyard for not just growing grass or just putting flowers, but something tangible that you can create, like you can use as well, save up some money on that, and also sell it out if it's an excess. So for some of you, it's like using the resources to make money. Resources that you already had that you were not using is now being put to good use. So I do feel that you're shifting, like Queen of Pentacles is not really an originally Piscean corn, but I feel that now it's like you're becoming more practical. You're a little bit out of your watery element. You're taking, practical things in hand. And you're doing that to the Piscean intelligence, the intuitive intelligence, the emotional intelligence. You're applying that, you're accessing that more, trusting on that more, and making more practical decisions. You're using those resources, the Piscean resources, and applying it into the material world. So this is a great energy to be in, Pisces, because I feel that, especially if you're at work, I feel that you have a certain way to make things work because you feel things, that deep wisdom you're able to apply so that you're able to put in the work, a certain style, a certain way that you're able to make things work. Somehow you are able to provide what other people need from you at work or at home. It could be anywhere. Or you're able to sustain things that need to be sustained for long term. You have ideas because you can feel to it or something, and that your intelligence, the Piscean intelligence, is able to work in unique ways. The next card you have, Pisces, is the white dress. And it's a beautifully embroidered, white dress. To me, it looks a little like a kind of a ceremonial, like, new beginnings. Maybe there is a ceremony you're attending, you're wearing some white clothes. Could be a political. It's also a garment, a color of initiations, new beginnings, fresh starts, pure starts, honesty. I feel that you're starting something new. It could be at home, it could be at work, you could be in a political situation, you could be getting graduated, coronated, some kind of an honor it could be, or you're attending some kind of a royal wedding, an event. But more than it, for some of you, it could be that, or you're getting initiated into a more higher, higher, what do you call, level at work. But this can also be in your personal life, like a a blank slate, a clean start, a reset of some sort. You know, it's like being who you are at the core, without all the performances. Because in our daily lives, we wear so many masks, we play so many roles, and sometimes at the end of the day, we forget who we truly are at the surface. But I feel that this white dress over here, there's no person wearing it, it's just a white dress out here. So some of you could be actually, kind of buying some kind of fancy white dresses or wearing it to some events. Um, but this can also be that you're ready to start new chapters, clean slate. Um, we already saw that, like, with the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, like it's an old life and new life kind of a thing that you're carrying, things that really matter to you in the new life. So this could be like a more your honesty, your genuinity, or your simplicity. I don't know. Maybe those are the things that you had kind of masked when playing certain roles, and you're like, those are the things, those are the qualities that sustain me, and I want to carry those into the future, and I want to apply those in my practical life as well. So it could be that for some of you, but it's like you expressing yourself in the most authentic way, you know. Yeah, it's some kind of initiation, some kind of a threshold that you are going into a new life, you're crossing, it's like, I don't know, yeah, some kind of a new identity. I think you are leaving your old identity in some way that you are fixated to. You are in between worlds right now, Pisces. I feel that you know what to carry into your new world. And you're expressing that, And I feel that people around you are seeing that honesty, that simplicity in you. You are being visible for who you truly are or who you are becoming. So no more presentations, no more adapting as to, especially for the Pisces and mutable signs, you're like, you become whoever the other person wants you to be. You're like, no more of that. Yeah, I am, This is like a pure expression of who you are is what I'm picking up. So new beginnings, new chapters, you could be starting something completely new in a new way. Or just your life, the way you do life in a new way. Now, this could be a kind of a administrative white dress, like ladies and all of those costumes and dresses that, people, coronation, all of that. So some of you could be in those circles as well. But I do feel that you are being perceived in a new light, in a new way because of who you are becoming, newer starts. Maybe you're moving to a different location, city, and starting fresh. This can also be like, being who you are. Like, for example, if you go to a meeting or if you meet new people, like, for example, and you say, I'm Pisces, this, that, and this, and after that, you say, oh, I'm doctor, I'm an engineer, or I am a pilot, or I'm this, that, and etc., I'm a lawyer, So you introduce yourself with your title. But now, when you meet people, you're like, I am Pisces, period. Just yourself, your name. Not the titles, not the roles that you play, because I feel that you're stripping all of that in some way. For some of you, this could be just, clearing out the clutter in your house and starting fresh. Maybe you're moving and you have to clear the clutter. But I'm getting like a very stripped off, like you're stripping the facades away. It's like becoming like a blank page and being very genuine, There's something different about this white dress effect, I feel that it's just like being very blank slate, clear, pure, being your actual self rather than the roles that you play. Being very genuine, like who you truly are, or, yeah. Some of you, some of you could be creating ornaments, you could be in clay books, starting afresh, or you could be starting fresh in some creative area. It could be learning some skills, or it could be applying those skills to create some money in a completely new area. Or this could be redoing things, like the more you grow, the more you understand. Those kind of changes, like over a period of time, you've accrued some wisdom and you're kind of making those changes. It could be in your investments, could be where you invest your time, energy, how you do life in a completely different way based on your deeper understanding. For some of you, it could be that as well. We grow every second of every day. We acquire skills. We meet new people. We have different perspectives. And over a period of time, after like a few months, we kind of take inventory of how we were and what is the changes that we want to make and who we want to become and who we are becoming, the honest versions of ourselves rather than the facade or wearing certain masks. So I feel that there is some kind of a genuine start for you. And the last card you have for today, Pisces, is a message from Cosmos. And it says, just because something is not happening right now doesn't mean that it will never happen. Divine timing is at play. Be patient and trust the process. With the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, I feel that things are starting to manifest, because it's a little slow. It might not be happening at the pace that you had hoped for, but don't give up thinking that it's not going to happen. If you are questioning that, will you be able to manifest? Will you be able to apply your new skills, create something for yourself, something sustainable? It is going to happen. May not be right now, may not be according to how you had imagined, but because divine timing is at play, things are working in the background. All you need is to be patient, which is the most difficult thing to do. You need to trust the process. So this is a hint from the universe that don't be negative, Keep it positive, keep the hope positive, and things are going to work out. But not when you want, only when it's ready for you to receive in the way you are meant to receive. Okay, so Pisces, those were your messages, and I hope you enjoyed them.